Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, how are you? I think you are fine. I'm also fine. I think you are enjoying the online class we are taking from our school. It is a great initiative to make you go ahead in your study, to help you to do better in your study. Dear student, you know, we should never tell a lie. To tell a lie is a great sin. This is such a saying. It holds true in all the ages. Dear students, you know, sometimes we do tell lie. Sometimes we show the tendency of telling lie just to get our own ends, just to get the things we desire or we want. Sometimes we tend to tell a lie. But you have to know that by telling lies, we can be successful for the time being. But that success never lasts long. That success is transient. That success is for the time being. If you want to tell a lie and if you want to have a desired thing by telling lies, so we should always avoid telling lies. We should always be truthful in our way of life. If we want to be successful permanently in our life, we have to totally avoid telling lies, because ultimately falsehood, a lie, is defeated. Ultimately, lie or falsehood perishes by its own nature, and truthfulness wins at last. So, dear student, I think you can get easily what could be the topic of today's class. Today's topic of my class is certainly the truthful dove. The truthful dove. So you will find this lesson unit 5, lesson 5. You can find it at page number 56, the truthful dove. So before going through the text, I would like to make some difficult words clear to you so that you can understand the text better, you can understand the text easily. So first of all, I would like to write the word grumpy. Grumpy. Do you know what is the meaning of grumpy? Ill-tempered. Ill-tempered, or we can say bad-tempered. Bad-tempered and irritating. So grumpy means ill-tempered, bad-tempered and irritating. So if we give an example with the words, we can write a sentence, we can tell a sentence with the word grumpy, certainly none of us don't like a grumpy person, an ill-tempered person. Okay, next one I would like to write here, sly. The student will certainly take your notebook with you and you will go on writing down the things I am writing here. Sly, very cunning and deceitful. Sly means very cunning, deceitful. We can say clever. We can also say clever. Okay. So sly means very cunning and deceitful, clever. Can you give an example with the word sly? A sly person can get success for the time being, but it doesn't last long. Next word I would like to write here, flattery. Flattery means an act of praising in a way that is insincere because you want something from someone else. So flattery, an act of praising in a way that is sincere, that is not sincere at all, insincere praise. So we can give an example with the word flattery. We must avoid flattery in our daily life, in our practical life. We always should be honest in our dealing with others. So the next word I would like to write here, puffed and ruffled, a phrase, puffed and ruffled, puffed and ruffled. So this is a phrase, its meaning is showing that one is better than others. This is a phrase, puffed and ruffled, showing that one is better than others. This is a behavior, this is an act showing that one is better than others. Puffed and ruffled himself. In the story we can give an example with the phrase, the owl puffed and ruffled himself to show himself more wise, more kind and better than other animals. Next one I'd like to write here, ashamed. I have to erase the first one here. Dear student, certainly you will write down the thing I am writing here. Ashamed. Ashamed. What is the meaning of ashamed? Embraced. Embraced. And embraced and feeling guilty of one's action. Ashamed. So what is the meaning of ashamed? Embraced and the feeling of guilty of one's action. Certainly we can give an example with the word ashamed. We must be or we must feel ashamed of our rude behavior in our practical life. So ashamed. Next word I'd like to hear, hospitality. I have to erase another word here. Hospitality. Hospitality. What is the meaning of hospitality? Hospitality means friendly, and generous reception. Generous reception and entertainment of the guests. So what is the meaning of hospitality? Friendly and generous reception and entertainment of the guests. Hospitality. We can give an example with the word, we must show hospitality to our guest who visits our house. Okay, these are the difficult words you will find in the textbook when we will go through the text, and I think certainly these words, the meaning of these words will help you understand the text better, understand the text easily. You can understand the theme in a better way. Now, dear students, before going through the text, I'd like to give you some focus questions so that the ultimate purpose of reading the text would be to answer to the questions I will write here. Now you will certainly follow me. First one, question number 1, who were the good friends? Who were the good friends in the story? Who are the good friends in the story? Question number 2, why did the friends Why did the friends look for the shelter? Question number 3. Why was the dove ashamed? Why was the dove ashamed of her friend bat? Question number 4. Question number 4. Why do you think that the title why do you think that the title is appropriate for the story, The Truthful Dove? The Truthful Dove. So these are the 4 questions I have given on the whiteboard, and our purpose is to give exact answer to the questions I have given here. So I would like to revise the questions again. Who are the good friends in the story? Certainly we have to find out after reading the text. What are the animals who are good friends in the story? Second question is, why did the friends look for a shelter? So in the story we have to find out the answer. What is the reason of looking for a shelter for the 2 friends? The next question is, why was the dove ashamed of a friend bat? What is the reason of the dove being ashamed of, being embraced of a friend's bat? What is the action for which the dove was embraced? We have to find it. We have to find the answer from the textbook. And the next question is, why do you think that the title? Here we have already known that the title of the story is The Truthful Dove. This is the title of the story, and after reading out, after finishing the text, you have to find out what is the main cause of giving the title of the story The Truthful Dove. Is it appropriate? If it is appropriate, you have to give reason why it is appropriate. The title The Truthful Dove of the story. So these are the first 4 questions. We have to keep it. We have to keep those questions into our mind, and keeping those questions into your mind, you have to read through the text. Okay. Now dear student, I would like to tell you the story in brief so that it would be easier for you to understand the text better, and that is why I am going to tell the story in short. You know, the title is The Truthful Dove. Once there were two animals named a dove and a bat, and these animals were very good friends. One day these two friends decided to embark a journey, decided to set out a journey. Yes, and at last they flew over the mountain, over the hills, and over the sea, and finally they came to a big jungle. In the meantime, a night fell. They got tired because of their great journey over so many areas. At the same time, suddenly a storm rose. So, in that situation, when they found everywhere dark, when night fell and they were very tired, so wanted to look for a shelter. They tried to look for a shelter. Suddenly they found a big rain tree, and in that rain tree an owl had a nest. So they hit upon a plan. They knocked at the door of the owl. So the old grumpy, the old bad-tempered, ill-tempered owl opened the door, and he saw his guests, namely the dove and the bat. The owl was not happy at all seeing the guests. But when the two animals, the dove and the bat, requested him to give them a shelter, the owl unwillingly let them in. And also unwillingly the owl had to share his dinner with his guests. The bat was also tired. The dove was also tired. The dove was too tired to eat any food. But the bat was very sly, very cunning, very shrewd, and he ate greedily, and he had a plan. He praised the owl falsely. He said, he praised the owl. Why? With the thought of getting more food. He said, "Wise owl, you are the most generous person I have ever seen in my life. You are powerful, you are mighty." This is a flattery. This is nothing but a flattery. You have already known that the owl was not at all a good person, at all a kind person. He didn't at first want to let them in. He didn't want to share his dinner even with them. But when the owl heard such a great praise, flattery, he became very pleased hearing the praise. He puffed and ruffled himself, wanted to show himself more wise, more kind, more generous, and he gave more food to the bat. Then the owl, turning to the dove, said, "Little creature, dove, what do you think about me?" The dove was always listening to his friend's false praise and became quiet, and he was wondering how insincere, how false the praise of his friend Bat was. The dove hung his head down. The dove was quiet. The dove remained quiet, but the owl got impatient. At last, the owl told him, "Dove, don't you have anything to say about me?" Then the bat joined him. "Yes, don't you have anything to say about this generous, kind host, namely the owl?" At last, the dove said, "Yes." He lifted his head. "Master Owl, thank you very much for the shelter you have given me. Thank you very much for the food you have offered me. I will remain ever grateful for you, for your hospitality." Then he finished his praise. Then the bat said, "Is it all that you have to say about this gracious host? Don't you have anything to say about the good character of our host? Don't you have anything to say about his generosity? Is it all that you have to say?" Then the bat also said to his friend, "You dove, you don't deserve this hospitality, you don't deserve this shelter, you don't deserve this good food." Then the owl came and echoed with the bat's voice, "Yes, you are right. You should not stay at our house." Then the two heartless creatures, the two heartless animals fell upon the dove, and they drove him out of his shelter. But the two creatures, namely these two vicious creatures, namely the owl and the bat, did not go unpunished. Ultimately, for the flattery or for the falsehood, that the bat adopted to take more food from the guest, from the host owl, the bat was punished ultimately. How? Do you know how he was punished? At last, the bat can't fly in the broad daylight at daytime, and he has to wait to come out for his food till the sun goes down. And what happened, do you know, to the owl, the vicious creature? The owl is blind as long as the sun is up. He can't even hunt for food to feed himself during the daytime. He has to wait for the night. He has to come out at night. So this is how you can see the two vicious creatures with their dark minds forever live in the darkness. Because they have dark minds, they are not generous, there is darkness in their hearts, and that is why they live forever in the darkness. This is the punishment they have got because of their falsehoodness, because of their untruthfulness. But at last, there is student, The dove was rewarded, greatly rewarded for his truthfulness. Though for the time being he was driving away from the shelter of the owl, but he didn't compromise with the falsehoodness. He didn't even tell a single lie throughout the story. He remained always truthful. Because of the truthfulness, because of the truthful character of the dove, for the time being he had to get out of the shelter. He had to be driven out of the shelter. He had to suffer for the time being. But at last, the great reward the dove got, that is, the dove will remain forever immortal. The poets will use the name of dove as long as the all lasts to rhyme with love. That means the name of the dove will be used in the love story, in the love poems by the poets, and still now their students, you can see, we use dove as a symbol of peace, we use dove as a symbol of love, and we use dove as a symbol of prosperity. So this is the great reward the dove has got for his truthfulness, and this is a great reward. So dear students, we have to avoid telling lies in our life. In nowhere, in no cases, in no situation, we should not tell a single lie to get an transitory happiness, to get a transitory success in our life. We must avoid telling lies in our practical life. And if you want to be a truthful person, truthful citizen in our practical life, certainly we will be rewarded finally, ultimately, in this life and in the hereafter. So dear students, certainly we have finished telling the story. Now your task is to write the answer to the questions I have given here. Certainly we can understand the text better. If you read the text carefully at your house, you can answer to the questions very well. So now it's your time to read the text, and till then you will be okay at your house, have a good time, have a better life, and you will be always conscious of the disease, the pandemic disease we can see everywhere. Certainly you have to abide by the rules and regulations and the guidelines given by the authority to be safe and to make ourselves safe at our house and the people around us. Certainly you have to wear mask whenever you will go out, and you have to maintain the rules, the health and sanitation rules, in order to avoid this pandemic disease. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.